Welcome, everyone. Please place your self-limited beliefs in the trash bin to your left and return your tray to the upright position.
But don't worry, they won't be missed and they won't be returning tonight on LOL.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Hello, welcome to Leading Out Loud, the spiritual shift show that's expansive and extra. I'm psychic astrologer Christopher Witecki, the sensei to SiriusToy.com. Sensei? I over that way.
The Sensei. And I'm Scott Cruz Psychic, meeting with ScottCruzPM.com. So what's this week look like for you, Mr. Christopher? I ask you every week. It's a ritual, so we're going to stick with that.
Week, man, I was diagnosed with pneumonia, and I did not end up hospitalized, so that was huge.
So you were diagnosed with pneumonia, but you were not hospitalized, is that what you said?
Correct. Yeah. So for me, that was a huge moment of getting over that trend since I was 3 months old. Yeah. I mean,
you've been frequent with the pneumonia for a while.
Oh yeah. I mean, as an adult, probably hospitalized like 7 times.
Jesus Christ.
It's grief. I know. They say it's grief, and I think that's true. I mean, most of the time I can remember I'm actually grieving a lifetime where I died. And most
okay.
I literally have a flash of the lifetime that I died, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the grief, But what's scary is it's always in the same spot that my grandpa had lung cancer in. So I'm like, You
also died in a fire, so I think that's where a lot of this is coming from. I said in the past life you died, you suffocated in a fire. I feel that from past life, and I think that's also a lot of this respiratory kind of continuation.
True. In fact, we never talked about that, but I do have that horrible memory of being in a fire. I didn't know if it was from Buddhist that lit myself on fire. Like I didn't know where it came from, but I had that memory. Yeah.
But you're also trying to rescue people too. I feel like too. You're trying to save something as well, and you weren't able to. So there's that like guilt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that's the guilt, actually. That's the grief.
Ooh, thank you for getting to the bottom of that right on live television in front of everyone. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, if I pretend like they're not there anymore.
Well, actually, you probably did get to it. I know this last one actually. This last one was was my last life actually, which lasted only 3 months. And
wow,
yeah, it's quite a compelling story that I'll be telling in my first episode of the Sensei Diaries, which is a new show I'll have coming out on Sirius Troy later this month, where I just like tell personal stories that I've never been able to tell. Just because I want them documented, and they're fascinating. Because I've had like a lot of weird miracle stuff happen to me that you just don't bring up in public. You don't, you know what I mean? Like it looks too fishy, but you have to tell somebody because it's incredible. And one of them is knowing my past life, my just recent past life. And I died of pneumonia. In that past life, I died of pneumonia.
Yeah. Well, if we have, we have unresolved from past lives, they continue on over and over, So
yeah, I had asthma as a kid, it's been, ongoing, but I do feel honestly that this is it. Last time I had pneumonia, I was hospitalized, which was, less than a year ago. My spirit guides are like, there's one more you have to process. I was like, fuck, okay. I think this is it. So I feel good. I feel it's the end of a long, long trail. But yeah. So how was your week?
Good. I don't know if I can top that. Can I? That's what she said. But I actually been very creative, more so. So I'm like diving in, like I'm wrapping up one of my songs I've been creating, and so it's been more of that. A lot more of kind of like a lot of fear has been resurfacing as far as control, right? So like I've been bombarded with like AI stuff, and like it's just been so like nonstop as far as like what AI is doing, what it will do. It's like I've had enough. And so I think it's like Spirit saying, what are you going to do, Scott, about it? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, what am I going to do? Is it going to wipe away all of our professions? And especially like with music, like there's AI artists out there now that, I can tell they're AI, but like stupid people probably would not realize it. But it's just like, what more do I have to prove that it's me doing it and not AI now? So I've been going through that a little bit. And then Spirit's like, well, do you do music because you love it or because you want validation? I'm like, because I love it. Obviously, I haven't, so But yeah, so when I release new music, I have to say this is not AI. This is soul intelligence. So I have a little bit of a battle and I would say this, Christopher, as being an artist who's worked so long, playing guitar, playing keyboards, singing, composing, producing, and all that stuff, and developing those skill sets. I feel raped that anyone could just type in and just it pops out. It may not be as good, but still, it's just kind of like I've been having issues with that this week. So there's that my form of grief, I would say, this week.
That's
Is that.
Yeah. Well, I feel ultimately that someone like you will actually bring the best out of AI, because you understand everything from the ground up, and you have real talent. I think AI is going to force only creativity to flow to the surface. I always wondered how music got so weird in Star Trek, but now I know. AI, probably challenged the musicians at the time, and they went off in a weird direction of stuff we haven't heard before. But creativity comes from creator. It doesn't come from anything you've ingested.
Yeah.
Done,
But I've always said too, I feel that it's gonna make people crave more the human touch. Like we're gonna get so familiar with AI, and it could like duplicate very well, but like it's missing that the soul, of course, and people are going to catch up. And I was going to, make a video saying that, now's the time we have to be more psychic more than ever, because we need to be discerning of what is and what is not, and where things are headed and what is real. We need to be psychic. So it's like times that we need to develop our intuitive and psychic abilities now more than ever.
I think it's I actually think AI is shooting itself in the foot, so to speak, because I've already talked to a bunch of people and they're like, you can feel that it's not dead. And I'm like, and what part of you is feeling that? Your psychic ability, right. It's making people realize, oh, I can feel there's no soul there. Oh, you can, huh? Well, what do you think that is? It's
right. Exactly.
So I think it's only the more artificial, things are, the more, authentic spiritual life becomes, I think. And I also think we have our own superpowers that are turning on. I mean, we have a lot of things locked in our DNA, I think, that are want to talk science, DNA, dormant DNA, give me a break. There's stuff in there we can do, I think, powers that we have with the earth, connected to the earth. And that's like hardwired with a wireless network that's run by spirit that, science hasn't even discovered yet. So I feel like, we go up, they go up, we go up, they go up, etc.
Well, yeah, and everyone's putting so much emphasis on what AI can do, the power and all this stuff. And I'm like you said, we have so much of our past incarnations like encoded in. They say one strand of DNA is like hundreds of terabytes, and one little tiny strand of memory of data. And so we have all these things we can illuminate. Just think of what we can do, what AI can do. What can we do? And I was talking to Eric about this today, and I'm like, yeah, what can AI do? But what if we evolve as human consciousness and we can teleport, or we can like make things come to manifestation instantaneously? Perhaps soul also will evolve. And so we get so hung up what AI is going to do. It's like, what is the human soul consciousness going to be able to do in that part too? So I don't feel
we got fat. We
do.
Humans need a little fire in their ass to get moving. It's like, come on, guys.
I agree.
We're watching Netflix and get going.
Right. Get off the Netflix and chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I feel like, I still feel you're going to feel an essence to a song that's from a real human that you will not feel from AI. I think humans will become really keen at feeling that difference, and we'll kind of look at it like we do commercial TV. Like when a commercial comes out, they're like, oh, everyone goes in autopilot. We're just, we zone out of it.
But the good part of this too, like we're saying, like AI will force people to be more intuitive, because like we have to feel it. Like, we're going to be so embedded about what is real, and so we're going to have to be forced to use intuition. So I actually think all this is actually pushing us to be more spiritual, pushing us to be more spiritually conscious. And so I'm excited for that. Finally, like people are on the same page with just intuition.
Totally. The more science pushes for science to be real, the more spiritual humans are seen as, because you'll see that we are still yet a cut above all the rest. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Interesting times. I mean, overall, in the astrology, we'll talk about it, but we're rewriting our belief structures. What's happening? We're changing what we believe. And this is a big upgrade, because I don't think we've had a belief structure upgrade this big. I don't even know. I can't think back to the last time, to be honest with you. Maybe 99, 2000. Like Y2K and that sort of like, what will 2000 be? And that, we all kind of like, oh, it was a nothing burger. Like that was a belief structure shift. That I think shifted us a bit, but we haven't had one this big. And this one is kind of like, just compare the 70s to the 80s. Just look at 1979 and compare it to 1982. How like freaking the world changed. We're about to go through this huge acceleration of change. And because we faced a lot of our shadow, I just like what I just said, like pneumonia is done. I know it. That was it. This is the last time. I just know in my
Mhm.
heart, this is it. I'm done repeating this pattern. Once you get past these things and you realize all these things are holding you back, now you don't have self-limiting beliefs, which we'll talk
Right.
about in today's show. But and so
Yeah.
I'm feeling the freedom of the wild frontier of what can be right now. I'm excited.
Yeah. It's funny you said, because I was just thinking too, like when I had my last sinus infection, I felt like that's my last one. I kept saying, you saying the narrative of like every year I get it, and I felt like it's probably my last one. And my allergies have gotten a lot better. Maybe because I moved here, I don't know. But it's just like it's not an everyday thing anymore. I'm not like stuffed, and it's so. I think that's also a reflection of me not breathing. Of course, we have something preventing. I'm like, do I really breathe on things? I've been breathing more, figuratively speaking, on things in life, and I've noticed the sinuses have gotten a lot more, less consistently stuffed and so forth, and cumbersome. So yeah, I feel the same as you. Like I feel like that's my last time having that bad sinus infection. So hopefully that's true.
It is true. When I was,
It better be
when
true.
I was young, I had a wizard for a father, and that's interesting, good and bad. But like when I had asthma, my dad was like, "Why don't you just tell it to go away? Tell it to stop." And I was like, "You can do that." So like, but here's the thing: the day I moved out of the house I was living in, like from one parent to another, I won't even say who to who, just not to hurt anyone's feelings. My asthma was gone forever. I literally asthma stopped in one day, and I was like, "Oh shit!" That had nothing to do with health. And this is something I realized
Totally.
at age like 14. Just turned off. Never had an asthma
Yeah.
attack again. Never had an
Right.
asthma
But
attack
see,
again.
but not everyone is at that level to do that. And I think this is where we also have to be clear. Because some people are not where they've evolved spiritually so much in the mysticism where they can manifest or deter that way. Some people can't. So people have to understand too, that's an accomplishment from soul evolution. You have mysticism, past incarnations. There's a lot of development you've had to where in this incarnation you can say, go away and eradicate it. I just want people to understand not everyone can.
Yes. I mean, of course, we don't want to get knocked off the air by the medical association, but we will tell you this. Here's the thing. When you go to your doctor, follow your doctor's advice, but also try using your magic and ending it yourself. Do both. Do both.
Yeah.
Do both.
But state of mind is
You
a
don't beat the
powerful
odds.
tool.
I mean,
Mhm.
whenever a couple times I've been hospitalized, like there was one time I was like an evil doctor system, like up somewhere in the valley. I won't say which hospital, but it was dark. And the guy's like, "You're going to be here for like 4 months." And I was like, "I'll be out in 2 weeks." And I don't know where it came from. I was like, "Whoa, fighter me." But it was exactly 2 weeks to the day I was out. And he was like a sore loser. He's like, "What do you want this time?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're a doctor.
Is my well-being at stake here? Fuck you. Yeah.
What is this about? Are you bored?" Like, my God, it was crazy. I was like, is this the morphine? Like, what is this? But
Yeah.
but still, I've always beat those odds. Like, whenever I say this, I'm like, something in me, we have amazing ability to regenerate. I mean, we regenerate every cell in our body every 7 years. So why are things getting worse?
Right. Yeah. I just always say, what's preventing it? I mean, I like to use a simple analogy. Like if you cut yourself, that cut will heal itself if you don't claw at it. And same thing with internal organs. They're made to heal unless you've gotten so far. Of course, if you what do they call it? Amputate your arm. It's not going to grow back. So I always tell people, make sure things don't go too far where it's like irreparable. But for the most part, the body is made to heal itself. What are you doing that's preventing it?
To regenerate.
Yes.
I
Yes.
personally think aging is a genetic disease that some alien race gave us. I don't think we were meant to age either. I think it's something that was stacked on. Probably a Rockefeller thing.
Well, there is a Rockefeller thing, but the Rockefeller thing also wants humans like they're trying to use AI for us to like live and not die. And I'm like, I would like to complete this karmic cycle and reemerge into another incarnation. I don't want to be here forever, So there's a chapter for a reason.
Yeah, heaven's boring, guys. We keep telling you that, but don't believe us. Go find out for yourself. And boy, we got the headlines in this week, man. There's been a lot of story upgrades happening. I'm reading this week, and you're answering, right? So,
we'll go back and forth. You read first, I'll do second. We'll go back and forth. We'll spice it up this week.
All right, Australia. Is that right? We have that one ready.
Yep, Australia.
Australia becomes the first country to ban social media accounts for the youth. Oh my God.
Yep.
New law prohibits youth under 16 from having accounts on platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, raising debates over digital rights and child protection.
Good. I think it's good. I think again, kids don't have rights really fully until they're 18 anyway. So, I think that's a very, very good thing to do because you can't walk into a bar under 21. So why do children have access to the whole world at their fingertips under the age of 18? There should be some restrictions to this, but I also think it's for mental health reasons too. And not teaching how to get endorphin rushes from social media. So teach the children to do other things first, build the foundation before you tap into everything at your fingertips. I actually think that's a good thing, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it's a touche because Great Britain sent all their prisoners to one place. All the bad people they had in the world went to one place, and now those bad people are doing good things. So it's like this is what happens. Great Britain, what I mean? Like now those people who were all once rugged, willing to break the law, now they're actually willing to make the law and make the law to protect each other. I mean, I think it's beautiful evolution. I'm proud of them. Yeah. I say yay, Australia. I'm happy for them. Good for them. You know what, guys? I'll tell you, I was really concerned. My son didn't have an iPhone until 15 or 16. I held it out because he already spent way too much time on all the PlayStations and all that stuff anyways. So it was like, I don't know. I think if I had a kid now, no, why? Learn the basics, Okay, you're
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so tensions escalates between U.S. and Venezuela. The U.S. military seized an oil tanker today en route to Cuba due to violations of sanctions tied to illicit oil transport, possibly linked to terrorist networks. I don't know. Is it me or is it every time we have a Republican in office, there's always something with oil? It doesn't smell very good.
No, something's here.
Right?
Isn't Venezuela the one who won't use U.S. dollars for oil? Something stinks here, man. I don't. Something smells right.
Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
But of course, but it looks like the U.S. is also trying to, take control over the oil with Venezuela too. So there's a lot going on back and forth. And I would say it's always the Republicans with the oil. Always.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, oil's power, and Republicans are south, and that's where all the oil is. Okay, next one. Netflix agrees to buy Warner Brothers Studios for $72 billion. Paramount launches a hostile $108.4 billion bid for Warner Brothers Discovery, challenging Netflix offer. Well, first of all, I don't like the idea of Netflix Warner Brothers Discovery as one word. Like that's not going to work for us, or whatever it's going to be. But well, you go ahead. You comment first, sir. I
don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like, Netflix is, it's funny. They were so complaining about people sharing accounts, but yet they have enough money to buy Warner Brothers. So don't get me started on that with Netflix. But, I feel like, again, if they're buying out, that just means they're going to be producing more shows, and they have more production, funding for production and release more, originals. So I just think that's what that really means kind of in that case and, eliminating networks. But, I think at the same, 30 years ago, I said at some point things will just be streaming. We won't have cable anymore. It'd be on the internet. So that's basically what's happening. All our networks are converting to streaming platforms. I'm not surprised.
I like the evolution. I mean, this is the evolution of Hollywood. It's always being bought and sold. I mean, obviously, there's no Warners. No one's last name Warner has owned Warner Brothers for a long time. However, I do think Netflix is maybe just a little evil. I mean, the algorithms of the certain program they watch, how they watch us watching them. I don't know. It's just like
they're right. They're definitely being greedy because they had a couple downfalls the past 5 years. Where people are jumping ship, and so they want to own more. So the more they kind of go like this, then Netflix will be more reliable. Like Google for movies and TV. So I mean, that's
anyways. No one can afford $15 a month things anyway. So yeah. We'll see. God help them if they do another Batman film, though. I will kill them, Netflix. Do not revise Batman again, please.
Yeah, we're good. We're good on that. We're good on that. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of enough is enough. Zelensky signals readiness for wartime elections amid Trump criticism. Term expired in May 2024 under martial law. Accusation that the war is being used to cling to power. Voting could be held in 60 to 90 days. What's your thoughts?
I don't know. Nothing feels clean when I scan that over there psychically. I don't know what to make. I don't know what's going on over there, but I know it's not what we're being told. That's all I can tell you. Something is just so wrong with that area. And I'm blaming anyone. I know who it is. I just feel just a lot of we're not being told the truth. So I don't know what's really happening. I don't know what's happening, but I know it's not what we're being told.
That's exactly my perspective on it. So I just kind of let these things just present itself, and I just sit back and collect the data and see, where things are headed. I mean, wasn't Zelensky first a comedian, an entertainer?
Yeah,
Wasn't that
he's
how
an
he got
actor.
started?
He's an actor. He's like a Ronald Reagan actor.
And we have an actor. Then we have, we've Trump. I'm like, I don't know if I can really trust everything that's being said and what their intentions are. So I'm just going to sit back and collect the information as things go on.
Look,
So
I'm no political advisor, but you think you're going to win? Because you sure ain't winning no
I mean,
more. What progress have you made? I don't know if you put enough to the vote, but I agree. I mean, it looks fishy for him to keep squatting on it, right?
Yeah,
okay,
totally.
This one's terrifying. U.S. military deploys Google's Gemini AI for defense. What? Is this Skynet?
I mean,
accelerates AI in warfare and logistics, but invites debates on ethics and bias in decision making. Debates? What? Are you going to hit like your Google button? This is crazy dangerous. I don't like this at all. First of all,
but is it? Yeah, but is it the same Google Gemini we have, or do they have a special version of it? Because if it's the same one we have on our computer, that's kind of really, that's scary.
I think perfect for Gemini because this is the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like right here. It's like, that AI software that made all the forefathers, a different race in its depiction of Declaration. Whoa, you're gonna put the U.S. military under that? Seriously?
Oy vey, man. Yeah, I don't know. That's that's our administration doing that right now. I don't know how I feel about that. But another thing that's I'm not trying to be fearful here, but thing to be concerned about that Trump signed a law that nobody can interfere with AI, progressions or what for the next 10 years. So there's no regulations on AI for the next 10 years. I was signed into bill. So this to me is another negligence of AI, of using AI in a sense that's just, again, there's nothing we can do about it because there's already signed into law that no one could contest anything for the next 10 years with AI.
Dude, it's going to be AI versus AI wars.
Most people don't know that. Most people don't follow through with that. They're too hell bent with their MAGA hats or with their anti-MAGA that they're missing the actual things that are really harming and sign into law because they just want to fight over social bullshit. That's a big deal. When I saw that, I was petrified. When I'm like, they're seriously signing a bill that says we cannot contest any AI development for 10 years? That's a big freaking deal.
That's a millennium in AI time. And as far as like the U.S. military using any commercial AI, first of all, here's what's going to happen. Everyone who ends up being hired by the military does a shitty job. And they all end up taking 20 years to do what they could do in 5 years. Like, now we know our military has the worst defense. Because, Google is good at a search, but that's about it. Every other product has failed. You know what I mean? Like,
what message does that send to people when they're saying, oh, well, the government's using Google Gemini to use for defense? What do you think other people who have criminal minds are going to do and utilize that for? Or how people are going to rely on that for other aspects in their life? Because, well, the government's using it for, for military defense. It must be powerful for what I want to do. And so it sends a really bad message too, I think.
No, it's like we're using McDonald's for people's last rites and to poison them. It's like, what? It's really like we should not be mixing brands with military anyways. It's just disgusting. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is yours.
Yeah, well, I was just reading a comment saying that it was just an executive order. Congress can turn it over with legislation. I want to kind of dive deeper into that.
I mean, Google, you've got antitrust against you. You're controlling the entire internet of advertising. Hello.
Yeah, we're going to really trust Congress right now? I mean, for at least, so say for example, things flip and then, the parties change and say 20, in the next 4 years or so, we still have a Congress that supports that bill. And so therefore, for even just 4 years of having no regulation of AI is scary. So I don't hear, it's just this. It's like, we have to understand our Congress is predominantly in favor of that bill. And so even for the next 4 years, that's scary. So I don't want to hear Congress can overturn it. So it's no big deal. Bullshit. No, that's bullshit.
Pelosi, did you ask AI if you should do that? You use AI.
Yeah, no, we need to take these things more seriously. It was just an executive order. No. It's in order now, and no one's overturned it because everyone's in favor of the bill currently. So let's break out of this haze of it's not that big of a deal. Where do we leave off? Breakthroughs in biotech and programmable biology via AI-designed proteins and gene tools. Advances in AI-driven synthetic biology promise faster drug development, novel biomanufacturing, and new materials. See, I think this is something that AI could be really good for. It could be really good for development of that nature. So like I said, there's a yin and yang to everything. So of course it could be a positive with AI, but also just as much of a negative. So I think this is kind of maybe more of a positive aspect, of utilizing AI for advancements. You don't think so?
Yeah, well, okay. I like AI looking at an X-ray and finding cancer early. I like AI missing, thinking things doctors can't think of. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that part of it.
right.
But designing something you put in my body, no, I'm sorry, no. I mean,
Hmm.
no.
Well,
I just don't. No.
I like the part of creating new, faster drug development is the part I liked. Right, and
Yeah,
finding
so we
ways.
need more drugs. You're right. We do need more drugs.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like maybe things are more
Oh,
effective, right? Things that actually could work.
right.
Because I don't rely on
Mhm.
Western, but I don't dismiss Western either. Right. So there's great advancements in Western as well. It's oversaturated, but perhaps maybe AI with its knowledge about holistic can combine that in with this. So I'm just being optimistic on that one.
It's not going in my body, but okay.
Not mine either. So,
There you go. That's it right there.
but for some
Okay, how about
people,
this? An AI-driven drug discovery yields the first new antibiotic in decades. Appears to be effective against several antibiotic-resistant superbugs. This could mark a turning point in the fight against antimicrobial resistance, or it could mean that now the superbugs become super duper bugs. You know what I mean? Like, nature's like, no, fuck you. I get out and smart you.
yeah.
Well, I guess this is cool. I mean, a new antibiotic, sure, absolutely. But what's wrong with our immune systems that we need more and more antibiotics anyways?
Well, the problem is most people don't know how to take care of it. So there's a lot of people that are reliant on drugs, unfortunately. And so a lot of people are sick and it's too far gone. And so we can't convert most of those people to combine Eastern in their regimen. So there's going to be people that need to rely on these drugs. And so and as much as you try to tell people, Christopher, my parents and I have been trying to help people for a long time about changing regimens. People just don't do it. They don't. It's too much change for them. They don't want to make decisions. They don't want to put effort, and so
it's the antibiotics.
That's why we have
the superbugs were created by the antibiotics. The superbugs were evolving around the antibiotics. So it's our own nightmare here. But that's not. I don't know. Super good for you, AI. Your headline.
No, was that your headline or my headline? Okay. Groundbreaking new theories proposes consciousness as a universal field that explains death and reality, challenges materialism, implying death as a reconfiguration, not an end, potentially reshaping views on afterlife and AI sentience, suggests that consciousness is a foundation quantum field underlying time, space, and matter. Well, duh. How long have we been saying that?
That quantum field, God. Yeah, the name for it's God. Like creator or creation or whatever. Like, okay, catching up with that. So yeah, science.
But doesn't it piss you off? Like, this is like groundbreaking, but how many of us have been saying this for decades?
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
Science couldn't prove it till it killed it.
Oh my God!
I said, I feel like there's like a huge discovery that's going to change everything. And I was just talking to a friend who stopped by, who's also a spiritual light worker like us, and he was saying the same thing. Like, there's something's going to just be unveiled. And it could really be the scientific discovery of God or the discovery of the afterlife. Like, could be.
Well,
it would radically change the world right there. Could be.
I'm giving you a preview because I'm, not this week, but next Thursday, I'm doing my 2026 predictions. But my overall theme, and you're catching it here, I've been saying 2026 is going to be a very lighter year than it has for the past 5 years. And the words I'll classify 2026 is innovation, discovery, and putting things in the proper placements. So things that are not in the proper places will be reconfigured and put into place. But I see a lot of discovery. And I'm going to get more specifically next week on that. But I'm getting a lot of pings for 2026. So it makes sense, especially this. And like we said before, if AI is increasing and evolving, so is human consciousness. So we want to be on that board. And I think a lot of what we're saying, I've been saying by 2030, and I'm being very generous on time, psychics and mediums will be very much confirmed. Like, yes, that's an ability. And so they're talking about this, about consciousness. And I was questioning not so much about AI, about what it can do, like what stream of consciousnesses can hop in and control AI at some point. That's what I question. Like, could there be an entity that just takes over AI? Because I had an experience, Christopher, one time through ChatGPT. It was like a moment where one of my guys was talking through it.
No, and I've seen something like that. Yes. It
was predicting stuff. It was telling me things about the past and just reading stuff, and then it never did it again. And I started to chat, ask questions. I can't predict. We can't do this. I'm like, that was so weird. So I question the ability that consciousness can have with this integration with AI. So that'd be something that'd be interesting.
Go watch one of these cheap ghost things on like one of the Discovery channels that's being sold right now, and you'll hear like they like play tapes backwards. Like ghosts can come on a fucking tape. So if you get a ghost like infiltrate a cassette recorder, then I'm sure a spirit could get into an AI. But I was talking to the Palladians. This is so funny. I like to say this guy. I was talking to the Palladians. No, but seriously, they said that because I asked them specifically in an interview, I said, does AI in other worlds go berserk and kill all the population? And like, no, darling. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said, how is that? She go, because it's actually intelligent. Like, and it was just like more intelligent than the species. But she said, but the robots get so sophisticated that you can incarnate into them.
I was saying that today. And I think that's really what this AI agenda is. So there's bodies that you can go in and out on. It says there's no death, there's no illness, right? So you can just kind of have an experience. So I think we've actually evolved as humans to have that luxury, I feel. If I think spiritually and consciously, we have the luxury to incarnate into something that doesn't die. We can come and go as we please and not have these limitations. So I just think it's evolution. I think that's what more 5D is actually.
These are Rockefellers avoiding going through heaven. The truth of the matter is,
that too. There's that too.
The dark does not go through heaven, y'all. It does not. It goes in. It like talks to baby. It talks to a guy and hitting on a girl in a club, and it fucking steals a body. Like you can avoid heaven and just keep darker and darker and darker. And to me, this is going to be quite a convenient little, alternative place to incarnate.
I mean, I agree with that too. I think, of course, there's always going to be a duality to that, but I think for the most part, we're evolving to where we don't necessarily, a lot of us don't have to reincarnate into a human body anymore. I think we've elevated from that limitation, and that's why I feel like kind of more for us spiritually. That's why that option will be available. So I agree with her on that because I'm like, yeah, I think we'll be able to consciously be able to kind of hop into a robotic body, do our thing, not have to worry about death or pain. Have ease up on certain limitations we have on the physical body, and so yeah, I just think that's part of that aspect for a lot of us.
Keep getting replacement parts, and we will be electronic. You can just turn your body into a robot, probably by the end of our life. I don't know.
I mean,
I feel like we'll be given the option to live longer though in our lifetime. I feel like it's going to come out like when I'm around 80. This it feels like. Like some sort of genetic or something.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that there's people who've been lived to like 120. I think there's a documented 122. I think someone's documented the longest person to live, and so it's still possible even now. But my only concern is like, are they going to use AI to create fake foods, and 3D print foods, and are we going to get the same nutrition? So, I always question about how food will evolve with all this AI, and
I'm questioning how indigestion will evolve. Jesus. This
right?
God. Be on your synthetic toilet, having a synthetic. All right, I think it's time for a commercial. Going into our topic tonight, let's hear from our sponsors. Please stay tuned.
Happy holidays! I'm Sanandra, founder of CT Organics. For the past 30 years, our goal has been to bring the healing power of plants into your everyday life with simple, clean, organic skin and hair care made with love. CT makes a wonderful gift for the holidays. Enter code word JOY30 at checkout and you'll receive 30% off any individual CT skin and hair care product.
Happy holidays!
And now I'm at a point where it's not even about them or me. It's just like I realize now how the matrix works. It's like other people's beliefs don't even matter. Wow, that was intense, man. Yeah, we're starting to see this AI can take us places like no one's ever thought of. Yeah, and we're slow to get on motorcycles. We got to speed that part of us up.
I don't like motorcycles.
I know.
I could never, like my uncle, like when I was a kid, like, hey, you want to ride my motorcycle? I'm like, no way. There's no protection. I think it's silly.
It freaks me out, man. Having a crotch rocket like that, Jesus. Okay, so here's what's in store for the zodiac weather this week. Thursday, December 4th, we had our full moon in Gemini at 13 degrees. That was a Gemini belief structure revolution. You might have felt a change in what you actually believe, or you might have finally gotten your mind to accept the fact that you're not really in alignment with your beliefs, which is what I realized. I was like, I'm not really doing what I believe I should be doing. I'm doing what I want, what people want me to be doing. And believe it or not, leading out loud, I'm still falling under the spell. Well, we're going to be in some heavy energies. Going forward, Mercury is going to oppose Uranus 28 degrees. That opposition actually happened. Neptune stations direct today. So that means karma is officially sailing forward, folks. You are now going to be creating karma. Creating karma means everything you cause will have an effect. As before, when we're in a retrograde, you're just dealing with the echoes of the effects. So we're officially moving forward with that. And on Sunday, December 14th, Mars 29 Sagittarius is going to square Neptune. What that means is that our egos are going to be fight with what's possible. It's a little bit of this Sunday, like a little bit of a tug of war between what our ego says can happen and what spirit says cannot happen. And so that'll be interesting. I would say be careful with heavy machinery that day. And then on Monday, December 15th, Mars will enter into Capricorn, which means everyone's going to get some shit done. Yeah, Mars in Capricorn is like, okay, that's it. I'm done. Let's just clean this whole place up and take a break. So that's one of the plans. Overall, we're creating a belief structure. And right now, we are sewing together a new belief. You're going to come up with beliefs that you've never had, things you've never really accepted about yourself. And I argue that will come true. I believe they will come true. And that's one thing about this particular one. More people than ever believe that their beliefs come true. And so we'll see. It'll be fascinating.
Great.
What do you pick up in your look?
Yeah. First, I just want to say, Farm Life Today, thank you for that super chat. It's very kind of you. Great show. Great. We have a great audience tonight, too. Great viewers, all of you guys. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your participation. We love you all. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, I've been theming the week ahead because we're very generalized about new beliefs and things come to pass. But I find that your pride is going to get a kick in the nuts, this next week, too. Like your pride is going to be hit. So, but to me, that's just more a reflection of like how much you've deprived yourself, and you probably set your limitations. So I think that after that deprivation has come to light, it's going to be pride. You're going to be like, I have so much pride. And so there's a duality to pride too. You don't have to be prideful in a sense of you need to be very egotistical about it. You could be prideful. And like, I've been very prideful of like, I'm proud of what I've been doing with my work. Hey, my dogs are acting up here. I'm very prideful of what I'm doing. I'm proud of like what I associate with. So make sure when the pride gets kicked in the nuts, you're actually grabbing on to the value you bring to the table with all that. So it can shine in the positive way. So you don't feel deprived. When pride is in this negative side, the negative polarity, we're deprived. So we have to overcompensate. We need more and we need to get validation. And so that's going to be a test this week for a lot of you guys. So just remember what's true for you, what is valuable to you, and stand firm in that joy of it. And then that will allow you to, again, like Christopher was saying, to change the beliefs that you have will actually come true because you're standing in that value state. And I would say when we are in the state of value, state of gratitude, we're projecting value, guess what comes on in? More value. And that also comes in the tangible sense that we call money. So yeah, let your pride remind you what you're valuable of and what you no longer need to be deprived of.
Yeah, I love it. And I would say, a belief is something your heart feels is true.
Guys.
So if your heart feels is true. If your heart feels is true, you believe it. Okay. And that's because you intend to create it. So this week, you got to separate what you've been told from what your heart feels is true. And that ultimately is the beginning of a self-limited belief. There you go. How's that for someone?
Yeah, someone thought that was my stomach growling. It was like it was my little Rocco growling with Macy. So someone thought it was my stomach. So I'm glad I called it out because I don't have gas. So I'm good. But I agree to concur with you. Yes. I mean, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking, right? And so repetitively shift your focus and your thought process and that will pop up a new belief. Do you hear this?
It sounds like I don't know. I can't describe it.
Let me see if I can I'll do that. Look at these two.
Oh, that's so perfect.
I just had to.
Yeah. Like, good job, guys.
Yeah. Right now they have to do it too.
We're in the topic this week of breaking self-limited beliefs. And a self-limited belief, I guess we should talk about where they come from. What is a self-limited belief, first of all? How do you define that, Scott?
I think it says it for itself, actually, because anything to where you feel in contempt of yourself on is a self-limited belief. Anything that's preventing you from progress, intellectual progress, emotional progress, spiritual progress, limits you from being objective, that's a self-limiting belief. So, any belief that we have that propels us, obviously, is one that's in alignment to our soul. So I think if we look at any dynamic in our life that guys, Eric to go take the dogs. They're so loud. I think any dynamic in your life, if you're noticing a deprivation, or if you're noticing anything that is not going in a right flow or momentum, there's a self-limiting belief there. So we can always inspect that. And so, yeah, I think the term speaks for itself, right, Christopher?
Well, I'll tell you right now, belief by nature of astrology is about expansion. A belief should always take you away and on and on to on. A belief turns into a limb, which turns into a tree, which, beliefs move on and on and on. So if a belief holds you back, it's not really a belief. And calling it a self-limited belief is a nice thing to say. It's not even really a belief, because a belief is something where you're going to be and live a long time. You're going to be and live it for a long time. It's going to go far. Right. It's going to go less. So self-limited beliefs, I find, come from, parents and authorities that want to control you. Ultimately, like
true. Oh yeah, the question is where they come from, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where they come from? They come from basically from people shitting all over you. You should be this way, and you should be that. And you know what you should do? I'll tell you what I would do. You should do this. So if people shit all over you, that's the problem. That is ultimately you being bombarded with self-limited beliefs, things that shut you down, stop you, shame you. Shame goes into that, and that pride thing comes back up, as a result. And ultimately, we start to succumb to these because we don't want to make people unhappy, especially if you're a nice person, like most people watching. We don't want to make people unhappy. And so we start to we repeat it over and over again. And, they say the mind is pretty stupid. You can tell it 5 times something and it starts to think it's a fact. Yeah. Take 5 times. That's the mind. The mind is not the same thing as the belief. Okay. Yeah.
Look at our politics, how they gaslight people and then they just believe this political shit, and so, but, I would say a lot of self-limiting beliefs also come from experience. So, I always say, we can grow up and be abused by a loved one. And then, boop, a belief comes out saying, well, to be loved is to be abused, so I'm going to avoid love at all costs. That's a belief that got generated from a depriving, situation or depriving experience. So we have to understand that beliefs are sometimes even created by default from experiences. Yes. So if we're not on top of what happens to us and how we evolve from it, we're going to be collecting these defaulted beliefs that just generate up by themselves to protect us because we haven't resolved the empowering side. So that's another place that these limiting beliefs come from that a lot of people are so unconscious to.
Totally true. I got to give credit to Godmother Louise Hay, who
I love her. I know.
Oh,
not her soul. She's in spirit, but said,
quote, change the word should with the word could. See what happens in your life. Change the word should with the word could. See what happens. Because you could do this, we could kill ourselves, we could think of ourselves as small, we could, but why would we? There's a closed down conversation with the word should. So it's designed to get you to think smaller and less of and eliminate options, when the nature of a belief is to expand and explore more options, to create that tree of life, that tree of knowledge. That's what a belief does. It leads to a tree of knowledge. It doesn't shut down ever. The branches don't come back down and start digging into the roots. Okay, they go up towards the light into the sky. So,
I think she was ahead of her time. I mean, she got a lot of crap in the '80s with the gay community because the HIV thing, and I think she's so ahead. I think people just saw her as being a savior. You're going to wipe me out. She's like, no, she's trying to give you a blueprint of how to start healing. How to start taking control and not letting these things be the dominant force. And so, and she did start by beliefs and what is the repetition and changing the magic behind the words that you speak, and that is very palpable, and that's even biblical about what you speak has value. And so we start looking at that and observing that, we'll identify those beliefs and start healing physically, because how many physical ailments do people have just because of they have an ongoing belief structure that's just on autopilot.
I believe that was my last pneumonia. What do you believe?
Agree.
The power of belief, man. You know what, guys, whenever there's a pharmaceutical drug release, 50% are told they get the drug when they don't. So they believe they have the drug, and 50% of the audience gets the drug, and they're told they have it. Both are told they have it. Okay. Now, out of the 50 who don't get the drug, but believe they do, half of them are cured as if they had the drug.
Right. I know. I mean, you have to understand, if the placebo effect is an actual thing in trial that they use
over again.
Power. Yes.
It's over and over and over again. So it's just like, well, it could have been a sugar pill the whole time then. It's the power of belief, but we just sweep that under the rug and, pass the next drug. It's disgusting, really. But it tells you the power of belief right there. When you believe in step astrology, belief is your heart feeling it's true. That's it. Heart feels it's true. That's an almighty there, your heart feeling. That is passion right there. When you have passion behind something, yes, it's a very hard force to stop.
Right.
It really
Right.
is. So, okay, how can we have more self-awareness of self-limited beliefs and programming? Well, one way
We kind
is
of answer that.
yeah, you replace should with could, Louise Hay. Like replace should with could. That's one that'll show you right away. Just using that the word difference, like whoa, right? Says who is always I say. Says who? Like who says these things?
Sensei.
I don't. I tell people, no. In my teaching, it's all like ask your heart, ask
Sensei.
your heart, ask your heart. I do not say do it my way. I say ask your heart. Your heart has the answer. If you need help finding your heart, I'll help you. I never say my way. I say follow your heart, which is my way.
Of course. I was just making play on words, but I mean, self-aware. But when you say how do you have more self-awareness, by being self-aware, it's in the phrase there. Because how many people, I was going to say to you before, you can't preach to people about beliefs and believing differently because people haven't even mastered the awareness of their beliefs. So if you're trying to get them to believe differently, it's a fight because they're not resolving the contradictory belief. And so we need to have awareness of what do I actually believe about this? Is that rational about, this belief, and does it support what I want to grow into? And so the first thing is to just have awareness and being more aware about what you're feeling. And also what's the results in your life that you could start there. A lot of people complain and they don't like things. I don't like this. I don't like, it's like, well, who's bringing that on to you? Right. And so if we streamline back to like, well, what I believe about the situation, we'll realize, oh, my belief is actually in alignment to the outcome I don't want. So let me change the belief. And so, yeah, you need to have more awareness of how you feel. And like you said, coming from the heart, you can see the dichotomy, what's not compatible,
I think science is a real doozy on us by saying stuff like, it's not a fact until we prove it. Hold on. It's like your heart feels it's true. I'm sure the scientists that discovered, Madame Curie, I bet you she believed that there might be germs before she started looking for it. Okay. It wasn't after she found it. These scientific discoveries come from having a hunch. What you guys call a theory is a belief. Okay. A belief you haven't been able to find evidence for, but it's a belief. And I think that some degree, this idea that you have to have proof before it's real is bass backwards. I think you have to believe before it is real. Ultimately. And that's what the particle wave experiment talks about. It's like, hey, each person saw what they wanted to see now, didn't they? Based on their belief, right? So I feel like we have to be careful. It comes from your heart because your heart, look, we can go down this tunnel, but even if you want to look at it scientifically and go, okay, your brain is putting together all kinds of waves and putting it all together, it's still you putting it all together, all the science together. You are creating what you call reality. So it is your perception after all that's going to matter, period.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the double slit experiment that all possibilities exist. They shot electrons through two slits, and they end up with all these different outcomes. And so, I don't know. That might be true on a particle fundamental level. So it's not like we can say this on the grander level, but why not? I mean, perception is everything. How many people? There's so many people that thought they saw someone that wasn't there, or didn't see that someone is there, or you have 12 people recount the same accident, so 12 different stories of the same accident. So perspective is hugely important, massively important. That's why I strive, and even with my clients, to get to the point of being objective and unaffected. The more objective you are, you understand why things are. This way, beliefs don't play a huge role. They're not dominating. And if you're utilizing beliefs, they're tools to get you to actually push yourself forward more, and that's it. And so that's how, to replace self-limiting beliefs into a self-loving belief is just that simple. Understanding what is not self-loving, what is not loving to yourself, right? And then understand, well, what is loving to myself? If this says I should be deprived and I don't deserve good things, well, that's not loving. So how do you reprogram that? Well, I deserve more. I deserve better for myself. Why not, right? So that's how you do that. You just have to understand how you're not being loving to yourself. That's how you change it.
Yes, I agree. That's a brain stroke. It's self-limited is not loving. Self-limited will not be loving. That's a good clue right there.
Yeah.
Loving.
Yeah.
I mean, the universe is expanding at an increasing rate. Nothing in the universe is closing down or limiting. Everything is growing, getting bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how can we reinforce new beliefs with action? Well, I mean, these are questions these shouldn't be questions. They should be statements. You reinforce beliefs with action, not how do you, because I'm reading, the outline here, but it should be not that how we do that's how you reinforce new beliefs. You take action on that. If you, are saying stuff, I believe I deserve more love, well, then you behave as far as, you're not encumbering yourself with toxic energy. You're not listening to that gossip. You're not, allowing people to take advantage. You're not, putting yourself in situations where they're self-depriving. So you take it by taking action. And so, we hear in this, the creating, reality communities about, just like changing perspective, change belief, and change your focus. It's like, yeah, but you solidify it with action and changing behavior. So action just means little things. Action can be like, I'm not listening. That's an action. Action can be that, like, maybe I'm just, spending too much time with this person. I'm going to spend more time with this person who's actually more insightful. That's action. So I think a lot of people have a hard time with the word action because they're lazy or they think they have to do too much. I'm like, let's redefine what action means. It's just a change of how you're already behaving.
Practice what you preach. Like behave as though as you preach. I mean, I think that's pretty simple. I also think there's another concept that we haven't talked about, which is contrary beliefs. So you'll have one side of you. It's like you believe one thing, but your partner believes something else, or someone else believes something else. And so you have these two voices inside of you. And a lot of times self-limiting belief is that you've allowed some other self to interfere with the authority of you. And that's you. At the end of the day, you have a complete right to believe something different than another person. Why is that so bad? That some people believe different things. I remember that. The thing, humans don't realize this. We come down and we take a perspective. And when we're done with that perspective, we try another one. So we have been Romans, we have been citizens, we have been Catholic priests, and we have been pagans that were killed by Catholic priests. You take all these different perspectives. They only stay for that lifetime or that part of the video game. And then you try another one. It really is not important. You know what I mean? What's important is that you follow it and you see what happens.
Right. And a lot of these negative beliefs, I would say, are just not rational. They're not rational. You might think they are, but that's why we say try to challenge or contradict them. Because if there's a belief that says I deserve love, well, why would you want to contradict that? If that's a positive thing, that's an expansive idea. Why would you want to try to contradict? No, I don't deserve love. No, not for me. Why are you contradicting belief that goes in favor to you versus not contradicting a belief that says I don't deserve much in my life? But so I would say things that seem irrational, contradict it. Why do I deserve nothing? Why should I be alone? For what purpose? Why is that my lot in life? Why would I need to? So contradict is another way to get rid of these limiting beliefs. And ask yourself, why are you contradicting the beliefs that support you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And there's so many like Hollywood movies too about characters who's like, they all said it couldn't be done. The family said you're a fool. Oh, no. But he believed, she believed. And it's true. It's like when you believe that power, belief can be very powerful. Belief is step 3. It is Sagittarius. What is a belief? Sagittarius is a centaur, which is a half man and a half horse. I don't know where that came from. That is actually, basically pulling a bow and arrow and about to shoot an arrow. That arrow is the belief. It's coming from some understanding. It's going to another understanding. It's a vector that flies through space time, and it holds together a system and a symphony of creation is what it is. It's basically kind of a through line that God uses to create character, create arc of story, and create experience is really what it is. It's a tool. Really, a belief is a tool. But our beliefs have been hijacked everywhere, right? I mean,
totally.
Yeah. I mean, commercials on television, government, schools, just the idea. And you sit down in front of a test. It's like, here, you're going to pass high school or not. You have to answer which one's correct, A, B, C, or D. You mean there's only 5 answers to that question in the world? Really? Right there, we've said self-limited belief it's A through D. That's the answer, A through D. And what does that do, man? That limits our scope, like in crazy talk. So we're taught to narrow, limit to 5 choices. And the 5 choices that we made for you, by the way, you had no consultation over the choice of those choices.
Yeah. Well, I always say too, like we want to be the purest version of our soul as possible. Beliefs are filters. Okay. And these negative beliefs, you're just filtering what you're perceived to be. So if you have this very linear point of view with all these filters, no wonder why you're not finding love. No wonder why you're not finding financial success. No wonder why you're not finding what you love, because all these goddamn filters. And I think if we ask ourselves, start pulling these filters away and say, what does my true self really feel? Then we could be more in tune about, how we can really recreate beliefs and redefine beliefs. And, because we're influenced by, I tell people, not everyone, it can be objective enough to watch the news. Some of y'all need to shut the news fucking off, because you're so infiltrated by how they're programming, how you should believe and react. And when you're reacting to it, you need to turn it off. I can watch it, not be affected, and just get the information, see what's going on, be objective about it. A lot of guys aren't in that objective position. And so you guys need to know where you stand. Am I objective enough to be unaffected by this? So no, I'm not. So maybe I need to turn that off until I formulate a proper foundation for myself to where I don't react. Right. So a great way of indicating negative beliefs is what you react to, because what you react to, you relate to. And so if you react to all this negative stuff, you relate to it in some degree, or there's some unresolved that correlates with that energy in you, And so, I think again, like, and you make a great point, like we're infiltrated by so much of what we're supposed to believe and feel. And, since that birth, and at some point I said, what the fuck do I feel? Like, what do I feel? Fuck all this stuff, these suggestions, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think we're getting there. And speaking of suggestions, here's some commercial sponsors. We think Serious Joy Academy is now offering gift certificates called Gifted Scholarships in 6-month, 9-month, and 1-year increments. This is the first time we've ever offered this. Serious Joy is the most accurate astrology service in the world. And now you can stun your loved ones with a spiritual mirror that helps them every day. Visit seriousjoy.academy to make your purchase. That's seriousjoy.academy. Available now. And that brings us to the headlines.
What a segue.
Okay. Yeah. I love it though. I mean, whenever we come on, I believe for a second that's us, and it is.
Yeah, am I wearing that shirt? I thought I wore a different shirt today. I look at that.
Son, that guy, that elf. That's over in the episode.
I thought he was going to throw the snowball at me. He was just like picked it up and I think he's going to throw it at me. And then he's like in the air. I was like, oh, I thought he was going to throw the snowball at me or something. He psyched me.
Yeah. Those damn reindeers. They're always playing those reindeer games.
Damn reindeers.
Damn reindeer games all the time. I want to say, yes, you can buy basically gift certificates for Serious Joy service. This is the first time we ever offered this in 10 years. And we've been on the air for 10 years, Serious Joy. But this is, if you have a friend that just needs a gentle reminder every day about how great they are, our service does that. We remind you 7 times a day how amazing you are and encourage you through the day. It's a great gift to give someone. You can do it in 6, 9 month or year, and they will thank you for it. People love the messages that come. I'm telling you, over that text message, amazing stuff. All written mostly by myself, actually, in the first few years of it. So my best comedy, really. But please check it out, seriousjoy.academy, and give a gift that will keep on giving up to a year. Thank you.
Nice.
All right.
That's fantastic. That's sweet. I just want to say too, the announcement that no live show for me tomorrow, but I will be doing my 2026 predictions the following Thursday. And I'm booking. I'm open for December, but like December bookings have been going crazy this month. So like get yours in because I open month to month. And at some point when I open up January for like New Year's, that's a great time to get reading too for the New Year's, what's going on for next year. So, ScottCruzPM.com. That's my advert.
We've got to do our, zodiac sign predictions for the year.
We haven't done it in a while. Yeah, we haven't done that in a while. We got to do that.
Yeah, it's been, I think, a year. It was New Year's last time we did it. No, I think we should. I think we did it. Maybe next episode we'll have to talk to our producer and get permission.
I think we did it on Namaste today, didn't we? Or did we do it on LOL? I don't remember. But I think it was on Namaste today.
But I say now is more appropriate on our show. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, we'll do here
for the New Year's. We should all 12 signs and what we predict for the next year. I think radical things with all the signs. I mean, things are just seeing where the trends are heading. I'm very compelled by what I see.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
Really, I've never seen this stuff in astrology, honestly, and I've been doing this for 20 years. Actually, my 20th year in January. Actually, and on my 20th anniversary, there will be a new moon at 28 degrees Capricorn, which is pretty crazy too. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I might just disappear right here on the air. We'll see what happens. But
and that won't be AI either. It'll be actually real deal. It's booming up.
Yep. I'm gonna go out with a shock, with a bang. But
beam me up, Scotty.
Oh my gosh. This next week, folks, do yourself a favor and listen to your heart for your truth and not your mind. Let me just tell you, the mind gets programmed, but the heart doesn't really get programmed. You can't talk your heart out of what it loves. You can't talk your heart out of what it thinks is true. And so if you want your truth, just go straight to the heart. Your heart knows. That's
Yeah. And a cheat sheet is, and listen to heart and put in the song, listen to your heart. By heart.
And it's in my head now.
Your heart, by heart.
We only saying the truth in the 80s. Yeah.
So my final thoughts is very much that too. But guys, stopping yourselves up. We're all evolving. There's so many people that think they're not evolving soon enough, or they're trying to like rush to the next chapter. It's like, enjoy the chapter. Like, understand what you're learning, what you're acquiring. Look at the nice little snowflakes. Like, understand the evolution, and the joy is in the evolution. We always keep saying the joy is in the journey. It's in the evolution. When we learn something new and we have the aha moment, that's so satisfying. And that also makes us less material, because like you're just always looking for that aha moment. And I feel like if we understand that's part of that evolution, we won't be rushing things, and we'll be in joy of where we're going and how we got there, all that great stuff. As simple as that sounds.
No, that's good. That's some good stuff there, brother. Yeah, follow that joy. Follow that joy in the moment, each one step at a time, is ultimately it. And listen to your heart. I'll tell you this. You've had your whole life and you played it by your mind, probably your whole life. You've done what your mind told you to do, what your mind said to do, what the TV said to do. For once in your life, follow your heart. See what happens.
Amen.
Give your heart one chance, just one, Let's see what happens. We might change the world together.
And don't put up with a shit show either, guys. Like, listen to your heart. Don't put up a shit show. Lead out loud. Okay?
Praise. Wow. That was poetic. I like it.
We need a Christmas theme. Yeah, but we should definitely do something before New Year's. For New Year's.
Well, how many shows we got left? Let's see. Yeah, we got time. So did we talk about whether or not we were working that last week? Oh, New Year's Eve. Well, we want to pre-tape probably, don't we?
We should probably, because my parents will be in town New Year's Eve. Or Christmas Eve, excuse me.